Well, hello everyone. We are back here again for another wonderful episode of Art Podcast. I'm Deggy. I'm your host. Some call me the Friday Night Delight, some don't, but I am here with my good friend, Jack Horner. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. You're better to be a Friday night delight than a Sunday morning yawning, aren't you?
What you said there, mate, I'll take that. Any witty, he's got my number. No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you come down and have a chat with us. We've known each other for quite some years and we've collaborated on some projects and stuff. We'll get all into that later on. It made sense to get you on here for a chat because you do a lot in the DIY underground music scene around Manchester and the UK. You're a punk rock stand-up comic. No, not comic, excuse me,
Pardon?
Poet. Please.
People do laugh at my poetry, though, so maybe that works.
Oh, shut up. But yeah, no, you're a poet as well and just an overall creative person. So I reckon, at a guess, it was probably 2021 or 2022 when we first crossed paths. I got a phone call at a day's notice to go to a festival in Levenshulme and do some interviews for Gio Goy. And I didn't know how to interview anyone else. I've been interviewed with bands and stuff like when I've been on the receiving end of it, so I just wang it. I don't even know who was there, but I remember speaking to you that day and taking a liking to you, and I just thought at some point we will collaborate on something. It all stemmed from there. And then we became like friends on the socials and stuff, and I saw what you do. You were going out as Leon the Pig Farmer, doing the spoken word poetry. I just thought, I really dig this dude. He's saying what he thinks, and he's not scared to do it.
Yeah.
You're very, very passionate about what you do. So that was it. I met you as essentially the punk rock poet then.
Yeah.
And things have evolved.
Very much
that.
so. Accelerated.
So let's go to stuff as Leon. Let's start there.
In 2019, when I woke up in a police station pissed, and I got diagnosed with loads of mental health issues, PTSD, etc. And my life had to change. And that is when I literally started creative writing in 2019. And that itself, again, accelerated. And I started to write spoken word and go out. And then I created this alter ego, Leon the Pig Farmer, which is a film from 92, a British dark comedy. That was going really well for a couple of years. Obviously, there was lockdown. And then we met around that time. It was at Levenshulme for an all-day festival. Rowetta was headlining the Saturday. And there was a real mixture of bands in Manchester and stuff like that. And I was doing the compare as Leon the Pig Farmer, which is what I kind of do, as well as doing the stand-up open mics or gigs supporting bands. And I guess we met there and we did a natter. And there was a free T-shirt and you gave me one in some like double XL and I'm like, I can wear that to bed and that's about it or something.
Yeah, that was it. I got sent with dregs, didn't I? And it was just like, go and distribute these. I did my bit. It was a good thing.
But I've got a mate who likes Gio Goy and I give it to a Latics fan, so that all connects in again.
Perfect.
He's a big lad.
And now you sat here in Oldham,
and I sat here back in Oldham, so we've gone full circle.
Yeah, and that's, everything always happens. Like, everything happens for a reason. And I feel like when we crossed paths, there was something like I was waiting for things to click because I've ran a music venue for the last 9 years, which is the Globe in Glossop. So it's an independent venue, 110 cap, in the hills. There's a microbrewery downstairs and it's the world's oldest vegan... No, it's the UK's oldest vegan pub. Toby and Danny, the landlords, say to me, oh, you're in a band, run our venue. And I'm like, yeah, all right. So I feel like there's only so much you can kind of do. And I was probably in the job for about 4.5 years at that point, I think, maybe 5 years. And I really wanted to get a focus on local bands. I could get bands in all day long from out of town and stuff, but it's actually getting the locals to tap into it was quite difficult. And I thought, I don't get this. Like, every band should be able to shift 100 tickets for a gig. And then I stepped back a minute, I thought, right, get my head out my arse here a little bit. Selling 100 tickets is difficult. But if you get 4 bands on a bill, surely each band there from, say, Tameside, Glossop, up to Buxton type thing, in say like, I don't know, a 10-mile radius of the venue, can sell 25 tickets. And that was like, okay, there's a plan with this, but I need a bit of help with it. And then just seeing online after meeting you about 18 months beforehand, you were like a big advocate of the underground scene round these neck of the woods. And I remember saying to you, I want to focus on bands from Tameside. Like, who's about? Who's in Ashton? Who's in Hyde? Who's in Duckinfield? Who's in Mosley? Because I don't know any of these bands, because growing up, there was a load of bands in Glossop and there was about 3 at that point. And it was like, what do we do? And I think for the 18 months we ran Burning Planet, we managed to get something cool going there.
Yeah.
It was all about taking it into your own hands and making it work. You were a crucial part of that because reps started to build up. People were travelling in for it. And the only reason it stopped is because we're both dead busy and we couldn't line our diaries up. That is literally the only reason why it stopped. But,
both us two went on tour in our own independent bands at the same time, didn't we? So it was like, it had to be suspended, for want of a better word.
It did.
The ideology did.
Yeah, and it was just like, I think when we look at all them lineups, we give bands a chance to come play a set in front of a packed venue. Because I think out of the 18, I'd say 14, 15 of them did really well.
When you put something like together, and it was weird how you said Neck of the Woods, because that was the festival we met at.
Oh, yeah, of course
it was called Neck of the Woods.
Yeah, it was Neck of the Woods.
Our pal Ruth at We Are Manchester was doing it, so I thought, I'll give her a name drop. When we do gigs like that, and we spoke about it, it's not just the gig. And I try and say that as a DIY band when I'm doing gigs or festivals. If it's a festival and we're playing a Saturday or a Sunday, I will still turn up on a Friday and I'll integrate and meet other musicians, meet other punters, meet people, techs, stage people, and we'll have a good weekend and a social on it. Or a gig, I'll turn up and watch every band up until we play, or if we play first, I'll hang around afterwards. I think what we had at Burning Planet was we found a Oldham sort of Saddleworth, Tameside, Glossop, Northern Peaks community that came together, and some of the bands, like you said, have gone on. It gives them a chance to meet other bands and like-minded people that they wouldn't have got until we forced them in a room together. And some bands did go on and they chatted and they hung around and they nattered and they formed friendships. And then they went on and did other gigs. And they took that back either to Manchester, further out to the Peaks, back up towards Mosley, Saddleworth, or into the Tameside. And they went on and did other stuff. And that's, I kind of think the beauty of it is that when every band does bring a few punters, makes it a good night, their followers find other bands. And other bands then find other followers. And the community grows. Because there is no record labels, there is no PR, there is no big management in the DIY. So we need all the help we can get to build these spiders' webs. And I think that's kind of what happened and why we got a buzz off it, really. That everyone was nattering and everyone was chatting and people were working together to put in their 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And people then go away with a more healthier, more fruitful and rich circle of followers, friends and family. So it does work.
No, and it proved it. And it's it came at a good point for me as well because my band, Guerrilla Riot, we've been going since 2013. So we've been going for quite a while now. It came in a point at my career where I was starting to feel chewed up and spat out by the industry. We've signed record deals before, you get false promises and stuff and whatnot. And it was just I was just so sick of all the industry bollocks. To put it blunt.
Yeah, isn't it?
'Cause I don't want to please people that kind of don't actually matter because at the end of the day, it's your craft, it's your creativity, and I don't like people tampering with that are an initial part of the creation process. By bringing these bands together in that pot, because that was all the things, it's at the Globe and whatever and stuff, it's like Planet, put it together, it all burns, it's going to blow and whatever, and it's just we put 4 bands together, and I can think of a few lineups specifically where it's getting fans in front of new bands that are fans of other bands, where it helps everyone out. And as you say in there, doing it on a DIY level, leaving labels and stuff, is one of the best things we ever did, with my band. Because in what year are we in now, 26? 24, we released our last album, Salvation, completely independent. We left our record label. And that got to number 38 in the UK Top 40 and number 2 in the Independent Breakers charts. So it's you can do this if you put the work in, if you build the following and stuff. People buy into it, and it just shows you don't necessarily need a label these days to do what you do. And I think you and Sachiko are a prime example of that because it's all independently run. And as you were saying earlier before we started the podcast, if you was to be signed to a big label, they'd water down your creativity. You'd have to sell thousands of units to earn where you're at now.
I think that's the pie chart that you've got to look at, innit? It's what you've got to first look at is not your ceiling, but what do you want from what you're doing and where do you want it to go? And with your sound, where is it going to be palatable or where is it going to work and what ears is it going to twitch? And once you've worked that out, you know where you're going to go. Now, if you're happy at not going on a massive big stadium and a massive big tour, and you're happy about having a small community-based cottage industry, for want of a better word, they still work. You can go down a high street in a load of market towns or industrial towns, and there's a local butcher's, a local florist, or a local... They don't need to be national. They don't need to be Interflora. They don't need to be a big cheesemaker. They make enough to sustain in a local area, and they sustain a living. And they can do that without being well known or have an advert on mainstream television. If you think of your music and your brand product or what it is like that you can still reach corners of the UK, but you're never going to be massive for want of the coin of a phrase, but you're still going to shift records and you're going to shift enough. But what you are going to do is keep a big chunk and portion of, one, your revenue, but your artistic control. Then you can still be happy. Yeah. And I think that's what needs to be understood, that the bigger the crowds doesn't necessarily mean the bigger the benefits, depending on what you're looking at. If you've got a big ego that needs stroking, fair enough, but you can still do it on more smaller scales. And like what you do with Guerrilla Riot and what we do with The Dirt, they're different sounds, different products, but they can work in the same ecosystem and they can cross over, and in Venn diagrams they will be in similar sort of areas. So it can work, and similar people will like the same music. So you can coexist, and everyone can have a portion of this pie and a section of what's coming back out. So you can live in it, but there is pain that comes with being DIY. There is frustration. Oh, there's sometimes waking up anger. There's sometimes waking up looking at your ticket sales and thinking these are slow because you're not an on-trend band and you don't have the same internet reach as some other bands. But at the end of the day, when the day comes and the room is busy and everyone's got a smile on their face and everyone's appreciating your music, and then people do come afterwards and buy a vinyl record or a CD or a T-shirt, and then you top up things like that, you walk away with a big buzz and a smile on your face. And you can't have that if you're told by someone who's bigger, you're going to have to change your music, mate, because that's not suitable for radio. You're going to have to water it down or polish it. It's like, no, you're telling me what to do now, and I don't deal well with that, really.
No, you bob on. You're absolutely bob on. And I always say, like, when it comes to it, we write music for ourselves.
Yeah.
That is it. If you like what we do, amazing. You can come on the journey with us. If you don't like what we do, then whatever. That's the thing. I'm not going to change what we do to please someone. Like, 'cause at the end of the day, if I'm not happy making my product, I don't want to do it.
No.
We just played at Rebellion in December. That was a fully self-promoted show. Obviously, rent the venue out, do all the legwork and everything. Honestly, I had such a smasher that night. There was like 250 people in there. It were going off, and everyone was just appreciative of a good night. And I've had shows before. Like, I remember we played at the Ritz one night with Reef. Like, I absolutely adore Reef. It was an opportunity that I wanted for years, but we had such a naff gig. It was tech issues and stuff and whatnot. And we played the Gifford in Wolverhampton the night after, and we just had an absolute smasher. It was a right laugh. And
That's a beautiful venue.
But it just shows, like, you have the dreams of doing these bigger shows. And like, I always wanted to play at the Ritz. Like, for me, that is the venue in Manchester. I did it with a band that I love.
Yeah.
And I remember the Gifford more. You don't know where you're going to go on this journey, and there's lots of mad things. Is there anything that stands out in yours with The Dirt of being on the road or anything?
We were chatting about a certain person outside, James Atkin, who's become a friend of mine. I remember getting a phone call a couple of years ago, and he just said, do you want to come on? I'd done spoken word with EMF, and there's the name drop. I'll pick it up in a bit. He goes, do you want to come on tour? And I said, what is Leon? Because I'd done Leon with him. He went, that or The Dirt? And I just went, The Dirt, straight away, The Dirt. So we went on like 11-day tour. And for us playing venues at 80 to 100 cap, to then go with EMF and go, which was, and I'm going to say it in case anyone listens, it was unbelievable.
You had to get that.
I had to get that in. I liked their music in the 90s, as I did a lot of other bands that come out. So to play with a band like that was amazing and do 11 dates. To play with different stage sizes, sound, engineers, a different structure, which was a little less unravelled. It was very much organised. As a support tour, that kind of gave us to go, yeah, we can hold our own here. We can do it, and people are liking it. We then went on, as the name got round, we did one gig with Ned's Atomic Dustbin, and that was them doing a small independent venue week in Birmingham, a home gig. And that was just nuts. It went off, and it was great, and I loved that. We did a Rockaway Beach to several thousand. I loved that. But recently, out of them all, we went and played Academy 3 in Manchester as part of Louder Than War Live. And that was a place for the last 25 years of living in Manchester that I'd been going, what was called the Hop and Grape, week in, week out, and going watching bands there. To be stood there looking out the other way and having a packed audience, I was like, this is full circle, this is mega this. And I love it. And to know that being a very late starter in creativity, whether it be writing, songwriting, performing, to know that chance can still exist in your late summer rather than autumnal years in life. To know that can still exist and it can be flipped was amazing. I was buzzing off that. As I do every gig, it's hard to say which was the best one. Like, you can't say which is your best song that you've written. But they instantly, as big, more high-profile stuff, stick out. But there is loads of other ones. We did a packed cafe DIY up in Middlesbrough a few weeks ago, and the place was jammed to the rafters in a sweatbox. That is as equally as much fun.
I love
Crappy
it.
people
I
in.
absolutely
The sound
love it.
engineer was in the actual cafe bar, not the back room, through an open window with no glass in because he couldn't fit in. And it was packed on a stage where before was a coffee table and 2 leather sofas. They're mega. I love every one. It's like I've got an opportunity to go around the country. And like you said, not just around Manchester and DIY and being an advocate of the DIY and independent scene, to go around the country and pop in pockets, to go play in front of a couple of hundred support slot down in Cambridge, or to go do our own gig like we did last week in Nottingham in a chapel above a microbrewery. Like I said, in Nottingham, to do these and meet new people, it's an honour and a privilege, all of it. And to be able to play music, especially where there's just 2 of us, me and my wife, that we create in our house in a studio basement, to take that into a studio, record it, have it on a vinyl. As a guy that grew up in the late 70s, early 80s when he first started collecting, to have your own tangible product.
It's massive, isn't it?
It's mental. It's massive. It is. To see this thing that's like, I still do buy and collect, but to have that and to know, well, in return, I have something to sell, which is this, which I've gone into a studio, recorded, and put it out there. And to have that, as well as having it on streaming sites and stuff, which is a necessity now, it's just amazing. It's just, I pinch myself daily when I'm not dealing with couriers who don't drop off T-shirts or CDs in the morning and they've been hanging in a depot for 3 days and I'm stressed because I'm going on tour and I need them, or looking online and ticket sales going low, or looking at no one's reading me text spec and I'm turning up and we haven't got what you need, and all that kind of business. The pains that go with it are small compared to having autonomy of your art.
It's like, it's one of them, because we'll touch more on the dirt in a sec, but I remember when I was just leaving college, there was a lot of people like going to uni then, and they were just like, oh, why aren't you going to uni, Dex? And I was like, I don't think there's a job in the industry at the end of it. I just want to be in a band and go and have a good time. And it's one of them, it's like, right, I might have not gone to uni, but I've got tales. Like, I've got experiences, and that is priceless. There's so many mad things we've done. Like, I remember once we got down to Butlins in Minehead. We were playing some rock festival there. But we played at the Academy in Leicester earlier in the day. And you know me, I don't drink. Like, I've been sober for over 4 years, and I was never a big drinker anyway, but I had a few scoops one night, and I was like, lads, I think we should climb on the roof tonight. So there is a video online somewhere, and I remember Arjun and Liam were on the roof of bloody Butlins in Minehead. A few minutes later, it's all on video. Arjun's there, Christ pose, Lion King or something. Liam's going to get him. There were about 15 drinks in. Arjun falls, bang, balls first onto a picket fence, off a roof. Oh dear, what has happened there? We're not as reckless as that anymore, but that is just an example of one ridiculous thing that did happen on tour. Just going back to vinyl and stuff, it's actually holding that product in your hand, and it's in your record collection that you've collected for years. Because I remember being about 15 and I bought my first record shop from a house clearance shop in Hyde, and I went into the record shop and bought Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. And I've been hooked on vinyl ever since. 17 years after that, like where we're at now, putting my record in a collection of all my favourite things, it just feels so wholesome and complete to get that finished product there. And I think when it all comes down to it, it's just leaving that legacy.
The holding something that's tangible will always outweigh a download or a stream. Music is an art and a picture. Nothing is disposable. We're writing a new album and we're colouring it in, as in painting in colours, that we've got the first track, the spoken word bit by me with soundscapes, and then we've got the first opening, throat-clinching hook track that's going to open up the album. We've then got one missing, and then we've got the next 2, as in it's structured, that it builds up and it'll slow down a bit so it undulates, so that when you take the needle off and you flip it over, you're then into something that's going to ascend, and then it explodes with another 2 or 3 tracks after. So the thought goes into the creation, the thought goes into the order of the track listing, the thought goes into how do we put these 8 pieces in an order that one's going to make sense, but 2 is going to work with the listener that's got to get up after 22 minutes and turn the needle off and turn it over. I think of that, of when I'm writing a song, and also in the order that we will put them in. Now, I think that is lost in any band which won't release a physical copy, who will only just put 3-4 singles out of the stream, because that thought process is never in their mindset. Whereas with us, it's at the forefront of a collector. Whether even a CD, it's got to go up, it's got to come down, there'll be a mellow bit in the middle. You can't just go, some bands do, but we're not, as a psyche, punk, whatever we are, an alternative band, we're not a band that's full throttle for 45 minutes. There is a level of undulation, there's a level of change. And I think once you put that effort into it, and artwork, and I'm quite a bit of natter about that. We've got an artist that we've used for our second album, who we're going to use on the third, who's cracking. Artwork is important.
It's massive. It's so important with artwork and getting an artist that relates to your band to bring the visual aspect of it to life. Because I really love the artwork on... Was Agitate your first album?
Agitate was the first one. Yeah.
I love the artwork on that. I think it's fantastic. That's what really drew me right away. And then I put it on. I was like, yeah, this is absolutely...
See, it's weird with artwork, because I always work with an independent artist. And Aisha, who's from Manchester, her mum was in the punk scene years ago. She was still a creative. I just said, I don't want input in what it's going to look like. But from the concept of whatever's going on in the album, here's 3 prompts, for want of a better word. Take them or leave them, but I want 3 prompts. And I literally said the Falls Extricate with a black edge and the whatever and the colours. I think I said Lady Godiva, Agitate, it was about agitation, provocation, and that's what the lyrics and the album was about, to set us up. So she came out with that album cover, which is vibrant. It just thumps you in the face and tells a story. And it's a puzzle for you to work out. As is the second album. I literally gave the lad, I said, the album's called Monkey Punch. And it's like, literally, it's more around the Planet of the Apes, the post-apocalyptic dystopia of are humans messing this earth up without over-intellectualising it. But I want the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil monkeys. I want one which is in a hood like a monk, but reverse Darwinism, so the monkey's holding the human skull. But I want it in 4 spaces, like 4 ventricles of the heart, like Love's Forever Changes. We sound nothing like Love from the 60s and Forever Changes.
Far from it.
I just love that album cover, which has got the 4 faces in 4 bits. And I said, I want that. And then he came up with this masterpiece. I can only call it a masterpiece. With 4 monkeys, totally different. And he put it into some blood red crimson stuff on the background. And we said, we can't even put the name of the album or the name of the band on the front cover, because this is a piece of art. So we're going to have to shove it on the back or on the internal sleeve. And this can then just be a piece of art in itself.
We had a similar thing.
It was like I can't spoil it.
Mate, no, we had a similar thing, and it's ridiculous. When we brought our debut album out, Peach, our manager was not into the title whatsoever. But it was just like, it was kind of a nod to like 90s grunge, like Mother Love Bone.
Yeah.
They had an album called Apple. Arjun at one point wanted to call it MAGA, and I was like, mate, it's a bit gnarly that. It's a bit Slipknot. We're not going to do that. He's like, well, the other idea is Peach. And I'm just like, Peach? He's like, yeah, Peach. I'm like, I love it. So what happened were we ended up getting the best looking peach we could find in Manchester, hung it up with fishing wire and shot it against a leopard print background. We put that on the cover, but we just put GR on the peach. But it was like, when you think about it, a debut album, it's like, it's not even got the band name properly on it, Gorilla Riot, or Peach. It's just a giant peach with that on there. And it probably bit us in the arse a little bit, but it was what we wanted to do, and that's important. Taking the ownership of your product and not pleasing others. Like, you've got to do what works for you.
Yeah.
And I love the fact you say you work with independent artists on your stuff, because it gives them a platform as well, and it's another string to their bow. Because I've done album cover jobs before, and they have been a nightmare. I've done album cover jobs that have just been incredible. But it all depends who you're working with. And like, you guys always have fantastic artwork, and that's something to be definitely proud of.
We even did that when I gave you something that you've not completed yet, and I was nudging you earlier on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot, but I have got a plan for it.
Right.
I'm not bullshitting you.
Because when we did our first album, this goes back to DIY, we had a mispress, and all of them were scored and scratched on the same spot at 230 seconds on track 3. The factory and the distributor, the vinyl, and they all just said, shove them in a skip.
No.
Now, and I'm like, nah, ain't happening. I'll have them, but they're not going in a skip. So that's when I released 23 for 2023, 230 seconds, 23 at 23 quid, mispress. All it is one scored line. I thought, right, I'll do 23, call it Damaged Goods, big fan of Gang of Four, post-punk sort of thing, keeps in line with what we're doing, it's DIY. I went, right, I'm not going to do the rest. And I just thought it was a great opportunity for these people who are all independent to come to the forefront in a disaster and say, I'm going to save you and bring your music back to life. So I just gave them to them all and said, listen to the album and paint what you want on it. So Aisha, who did the first album, Kitty, who illustrated my third book, Sachiko's mum, Yoshiko, my neighbour who's an artist, she's getting into her 70s and she's had stuff in galleries and she's now more retired from public view. She did some stuff. The tattooist did some stuff. And literally I just put them all up for market, said, hey, you can have it, you can still play a B-side.
Yeah, but it was like, as well as doing that, you put an exhibition on with it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did an exhibition in hairdressers.
With a bar.
With a bar.
Which is cool. It's
Just
just...
kick it off. And then we moved it to a cafe we moved it to a bar, a craft beer bar in Macclesfield, and then if there's any left, we put a few. I've got a few in a record shop, and I've got a few that I put up in an art cafe in Holmfirth. And this year I said, right, people can't get to them places, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them to festivals this summer. And we've only got an handful left. Most of them have gone. But and I've got people at the gigs. Have you still got some of those painted vinyl left? I'd like one. Yeah, we'll dish you one out.
But it's the best thing to do because, like, being a DIY band, you get a lot of disasters. You've got to make the best out of it.
But selling those 23, which cost us nothing, then paid for the recording of the second album. So it all goes back into the ecosystem.
Of course.
It means as a DIY band, we don't have to scramble around for, which is a few grand.
Yeah.
And I know from speaking to you, but we don't spend nowhere near as much as you on a production. But you're a bigger band and you've got a lot more component parts. We go record live. We literally build the loops up, do my monkey drumming, percussion for want of a better word, do the guitar loops with Sachiko because she loops bass, rhythm and lead, and play live with a lot of fuzz and distortion. And then I put the vocals on. And we do it, and we record an album in 2 days. It's nuts. We just go for it. And we've just booked in with the guy for the third album because, as I said, we've got 7 out of 8 tracks written. And I went, shall we come for 3 days? And he was like, well, we can have 3 days, but let's not lose this intensity because that was just a roller coaster ride of coming in and going for it and leaving 2 days and my voice being like this, which is still prevalent on because it's recorded on the last track of the album, which is Chaos, and it's me going Chaos, and it's literally comes out like gravel, but it suits the song.
Yeah.
But it was done at 4 o'clock on the second day when we're pushing it to finish for 5 to go out for a meal and a couple of beers right on the west coast of Scotland in the middle of nowhere, overlooking Arran. Well, I didn't even know Arran was there till the day we left when the clouds cleared. But it was like that, and it was just we caught the mood, and we moved with a level of frenetic energy and a level of ferocity, and just went in, got the 8 tracks down, and went number 1's best on that, which is normally the way, or the second one. Never is it third, because by that point you're just like, we've done it twice, we've done it 3 times, and let's move on and just, we've captured it. There's nothing that's wrong. There's no beats missed. There's no guitar bits missed. And the words are in the right place at the right time with the right words. So let's go with that one. That's got the intensity and keep with that. And it's an album which is, our first album, a mate of mine said, it was great, but it was an uncomfortable listen. And I was like, right, okay. Is that a positive thing or a bad? He went, no, it's positive. What it meant was I just didn't relax and just get switched off from it. I was listening to everything because you had a lot to say. I said, yeah, I have got a lot to say. I'm quite angry with parts of this world and they need saying, and I'm not going to sit on the fence. He said, yeah. And he went, it was uncomfortable listen. So he clearly likes it because he's got a little radio show in West Yorkshire on Dry Stone Radio, and he plays our stuff and he plays all the new stuff. So it was clearly, it wasn't a harsh criticism. It was just clearly a lovely way of reviewing our music.
Really nice compliment, that.
It is. It's uncomfortable listen.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a T-shirt, that, mate.
It is. Thank you. I'll have to use it.
You can have that. Even though I didn't coin it, but you can have it. Before we start wrapping up now, if you had to sum up the dirt in, say, like a paragraph, how do you reckon you'd do that?
This is like a plug. I've just got out some new baseball caps. I'm going to do a new T-shirt, and it literally says beats, loops, riffs, and rants, and it's put in 4 bits, because most band members are 4, so they'll have T-shirts, don't they? The 4 band members, them typical cliche T-shirts. So I said to Sachiko, let's do one, but just do the 4 component parts of our band, even those 2 of us, and it was like beats, loops, riffs, rants. We are a sonic psych punk duo, Dark Peak, Pennine based, that plays distortion, reverb, thumping drum beats, anarcho, fuzz lyrics, and repetitive drone with surf elements, and just a bounce. It's different. We are the love child of Suicide and Spaceman 3, with The Fall as an impressionable uncle.
How am I meant to follow that? Like, how am I literally meant to follow that? But one last thing before we go. Manchester's got a lot of good bands at the minute.
Oh, mate,
who should people be going listening to? If you're looking for your new favourite band, which I think everyone should be doing at all times.
Everyone should be, but they don't. It's like, I'm going to, last little rant, please.
Go on.
It's like everyone wants to go where the Instagrammable gig is. Everyone wants to go where the Radio 6 gig is. Everyone wants to go where the event on Facebook tells them to go, or the on-scene promoter wants to be on trend, the hottest new band. I hate the word show. I never use the word show. I use the word gig. It's Americanisms. I don't put on a show. I put on an event, an experience. And I guess that's what it's about. It's like a show. It's like, it's not theatre. It's a basement or a loft in a room in Manchester, in Gulliver's, the Pear Art, Night and Day, Castle, Soup, all these areas in the Northern Quarter, as well as going down to Deaf Institute, have all got vibrant spaces that me and like-minded people play. But I'm going to give you the Battery Farm, the Empty Page, Slab, and Avid Fan. I could name loads of bands here now that if anyone's going to listen to this, you didn't mention my band's name. So I'm sorry. Bone Shake, another one.
Great band.
Great band. There's so much going on outside Manchester. Preston's got a mega scene with the Ferret, and we've been talking offline. Oldham's coming on the map, innit?
Oldham's,
and we're going to start locking horns and rattling and look at what we can bring into the periphery satellite towns of what is effectively a great city. It's more than bucket hats and tambourine shaking.
And there is an audience. It's like the scene, it's obviously different to yours, but there's a dedicated 5,000 group of people that travel to these small venues. Like Thursday night, say they're based in Leicester, you're on tour, you play there, you'll see them in Newcastle the night after. It's like Thursday.
We've got a lass from Hull. She's seen us up in Newcastle, Northampton, all over. And her husband relentlessly drives her about, and she's in her 70s.
Wow.
Ros. She comes everywhere, buys every merch. We've got another guy who lives down south. He just drove up for our gig in Nottingham the other day. There are people in Manchester that will come to your underground gigs when you put them on sale and support you.
It's so important.
And support not just us, but every other DIY band around the city. And they travel.
They do, and it's nuts. Like, when we go out and stuff, it's a similar thing, 150 cap venues and stuff and whatnot for a headline show, and you'll get, say, a 7-day tour, there'll be people at 5 of them shows, and it's on a working week and stuff.
It humbles you
it's
that people are willing to travel. And it's not just the £8, £10 for your ticket. It's the money they've spent for hotels.
Fuel.
Food.
Pints.
To come and see your 40, 45 minutes, hour at most with us on the DIY scene.
Yeah.
But to come and spend time like that, that's the driving factor. The response you get on socials, the people that turn up, the people that buy merch, the enjoyment of creativity, especially with me, with just the two of us with my wife. I'm ensconced in the DIY independent sub-industry of the music world, shall we say.
Mate,
it is a sub-industry. It's a sub-world. It's not... People say, oh, you're in the music industry. I'm like, I'm far from the music industry. It's like Hunger Games, isn't it? We're the ones fighting around, dog fighting, whatever, while these people sit in big palatial glass towers. That's a totally different world, the music industry, of what goes on mainstream radio, mainstream PR, mainstream plugging, mainstream venues. We're a lifetime away from that.
Yeah.
We're running around fields in the Mad Max scenes.
Yeah, so I think that kind of brings us to a
full
the end
conclusion.
of this for now. You will be back at some point.
I'll be back for a natter.
You will be back for a natter at some point because you are
whatever we're stirring in that melting pot of creativity to do at this place where we are. Because I'll tell you, people, whenever it goes out, I'm sat in a mill in Oldham and it's mega, and there's lots of just crackers stuff. It's a labyrinth of creativity. Oldham's great, isn't it?
So, before we go, where can people find you online?
Our music is independently sold and distributed by us at The Dirt 71 on Bandcamp, Our Year of Age. We're on Instagram as The Dirt with a 1 instead of an I. We're on The Dirt Psych Zone on Facebook. We've just started going on this upscrolled thing, but I don't put much on there and I don't even engage with Twitter. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook are the main two, or Bandcamp, and we're on streaming sites. We are The Dirt. Our albums are called Agitator and Monkey Punch. The nearest gig to us is going to be May the 8th at Gulliver's on Oldham Street in Manchester with Slab and Japanese band Happy. Apart from that, we're all over the country. The van's out, it's ready, it's getting cleaned. We go away next weekend with Interrobang, which is Dunstan from Chumbawamba, and go do 3 days with him and Griff from Leeds, and that is going to be nuts. And after that, we're all over. We're doing festivals, we're doing other gigs up in the north. Keep an eye out what we're doing, come and have a look, say hello, come have a bounce, come see what the fuzz is about.
Remember, support independent artists, support independent bands. If you've got a dream, follow it. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from one of my heroes, Mr. Joe Strummer, and that is, "The future is unwritten." I'll see you next time.